if you wanted to eliminate any chance of you not resurrecting, and if you want to eliminate any chance of you not dying, then you yourself will need to learn the rule of ignorance. The way of Salam, all Sufian, is to reject ignorance and evil. Why? Ignorance creates fear. Woe then any scholar who would seek to mock the all Sufian by showing such ignorance to sense. Do not curse all through your ignorance. Not only an obligation to which all law shall hold every father accountable, not only for any acts of evil and ignorance of the father, but any actions of their children. No one is getting away from committing ignorance. For leaders who encourage the poor to bring hungry mouths into this world, seek to breed ignorance and seek to breed fear for their own ends. Ignorance is the friend of true evil. Ignorance masks itself as divine and entraps the souls of men. Any saying which claims that in Salam, knowledge and science is a sin and ignorance is a virtue is a wicked lie by someone who worships demons pretending to be God. Let not a single sermon praising ignorance if such ignorance and evil is not moved, then you must do everything in your power to honor knowledge and wisdom and remove them. The first step towards knowledge and honoring the will of all law is to denounce willing ignorance. Knowledge without character is a most dangerous state. All knowledge must be harnessed through self-discipline and virtue. Whoever preaches ignorance, who despises knowledge and science, you are commanded to seize them and cast them out. Never let such evil defile a holy place of Salam. Nothing is more wicked than the promotion of ignorance and fear in the name of all. This is the ignorance of the Umayyad, who believe illness is because of curse. Do not believe such ignorance. If he incites violence and hatred through ignorance, seize him from any position of authority and banish him from the community. Only reject the ignorance. Only reject the stupidity of the Umayyad who worship the moon as a deity. Truly, there are no more ignorant and disrespectful to all law than those who ignore the day only to worship the night. Education, educare, is the enemy of ignorance and the enemy of evil. He dies not who gives life to learning. Whoso honors the learned honors all law. If a man damage or even destroy a scriptorium, let him lose his head for such deliberate ignorance. No man can both love all law and hate knowledge without being a heretic or an idiot. All praise and worship be to all and no other. The sanctuary into which no sorcery, nor ignorance, nor corruption may pass. No greater love can a person offer to the teaching of Salam than to offer their life in the defense against those who preach tyranny, evil, and ignorance. Truly, a community that exists on hate destroys its soul like a terrible drought. Hate destroys life. Therefore, do not hate your enemy. Hate destroys life. Therefore, it is your choice to live in ignorance or wisdom. If they tell you that ignorance is a blessing, then the gifts given to you by all should be enough to see through such evil and such lies. Ignorance is no excuse. Ignoring is no excuse. What is belief? Belief is the surrender of ignorance, the surrender of doubt, pettiness, and self-harm to the way. Thus, the belief is the way. And the way is the belief of true I, Salam. The willing, you have to will ignorance. The willing ignorance. The angels are the voice of reason against hate and against ignorance. These are your messengers of the divine. Thus, it is a tragedy of life that those who die in ignorance condemn themselves to a time in spirit. The place formed by a life of ignorance. The abyss is the place formed by a life of ignorance, life of hate, life of deception, and life of disbelief. Thus, the abyss is part of existence and where the wardens are ourselves. Our Creator loves all his creations. He is the master. He is master of the universe and all creation. A sacrifice in ignorance is none at all. A prayer to the Almighty out of ignorance or fear is like a broken vessel that has lost its value. We can't pray to the Almighty using ignorance or using fear. Out of ignorance or hatred for the gifts given unto you as a child that does not respect the love of a father. The greatest sadness then be the death of those who were not prepared, who celebrated their ignorance. If they tell you that ignorance is a blessing, then the gifts given to you by all should be enough to see through such evil and lies. Allah loves all his family. You shall be judged soon enough as to what truly is in your heart. Did you respect knowledge, or did you worship ignorance? If a person tells you a saying claimed to be from me that advocates evil, that advocates cursing, that advocates death, or advocates ignorance, then therefore you yourself do not need to be told the surety of words claimed to be from me. All gives men and women the ability to think, to reason, and to choose. Not only a pile of rocks in worship of the moon goddess, of the Umayyad and a symbol of the worship of ignorance. To curse the great city of learning, Uthman has now called it Mecca and erected a square temple to his moon goddess upon the ruins of the most sacred circular altar of all. The people of Mecca still serve darkness by willingly support the Uthman and his ignorance. Let not the ignorance scribe speak of ancient time they know not. Jerusalem, who the Christians call the maniacs, on account of their madness and ignorance. They prey upon weak and confused minds that they may control obedience through ignorance. To overcome one's more baser emotions. To be better. To seek to make the world a better place. To fight against ignorance, corruption, and deception. To honor all law through each action. Thus, a true Sufian, a Sufian Muslim, prays not because of fear or ignorance, but out of knowledge and respect. A true Sufian does not. There's no correct times for prayer and times of prayer for Allah. That is false. Any saying which claims Allah calls for the murder of women and children, or for torture, or for hate, or for ignorance over wisdom, even superstition over common sense, is false. Any saying which claims Allah commands the times for prayer and to pray is false. The divine creator of all existence does not force himself upon our free will. It is for us to choose to honor our creator of all things. They claim knowledge and wisdom of Allah, yet all their scriptures are fake and full of ignorance. Woe to you, imposters. Truly, the madness and ignorance of the Persian and merchants is revealed upon this very idea. If a man so arrogantly claim to be the one, the true and only ultimate owner, arrest him and cast him into the deepest pit for his deepest insult against the divine owner of all. Let it be said, no man may claim to be the absolute owner of his land, of his house, of his cattle. The maniacs, through their filthy writings claim to be their own idols. They claim the divine creator has abandoned the earth. And they submit to the demon they call Sabbath. Sabbath. If this be so, then even Sabbath, Sabbath, whom is their name, for Satan is not the owner. We all be stewards and custodians of this life, the land, and the animals. Fear is the enemy. Hate is the enemy. Jealousy is the enemy. Above all, ignorance is the enemy. What ignorance be? That the creator of all things would worship the destruction of that which he creates and that which he loves. What hypocrisy be the poison spoken to claim the death of an animal by magic is somehow pleasing to the creator of all knowledge and wisdom. To give up something in ignorance is no sacrifice but carelessness. Let your sacrifice be both pure of heart and mind. Ignorance and fear are the only veils. Knowledge and virtues are the weapons to destroy ignorance and fear. The spell of a Persian is only as powerful as belief. Poverty breeds ignorance, whereas austerity sustains holiness. If such men live in palaces and riches, seize them and hold them accountable for their evil. Shame on those that change or corrupt the words of all concerning simplicity, concerning austerity, to the promotion of poverty. If such men live in palaces and riches, seize them and hold them accountable for their evil. Nothing saddens all law more than people who live in filth and squalor as happily as pigs. Such ignorance is the playground of demons. Only tyrants and evil men claim poverty a virtue. And those are the rules of ignorance. In order to fully mentally resurrect yourself into the spiritual mind, you must reject ignorance and evil. These are the ignorance that governs beliefs of the spell from the magic, sorcery, from the poison Persians and the merchants. So they have surrounded ignorance with filth and have kept divinity away from knowledge. ignorance. Remember IG. This is why the Instagram is IG. So you can publish your ignorance, your IG ignorance. Ignoring yourself, your actions, and how they affect all of your family and your community and those who are associated with the Creator. These things we must understand as we understand knowledge and wisdom is the enemy and the weapons to destroy the enemy. The enemy uses ignorance and fear to spread your mind to death. They mentally want you mentally dead. The resurrection of the dead is a mental resurrection. A wise person stands firm. Peace of mind with love divine. Salam, Salam, Wadu.